Would you believe me if I said Tarkov streamers use a crosshair to hit those deadly accurate point fires? Well, before you click off, this is not third-party software. It is not a monitor crosshair, and it is not scotch tape with a dot in the center. This is not cheating. It does not break TOS. You cannot get banned for this because it is an in-game mechanic. This is one of the most guarded secrets when it comes to point fire, is how Sony players can be so deadly accurate with almost every weapon. We're going to break down this secret, as well as what makes point fire so good and how to actually use it in fights, as well as how to make it the most accurate we possibly can. Before we jump in, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, comment down below, consider subbing, or close to 20k. That'd be sick if we hit that. And we're live every day on Twitch, link in the description. But guys, let's jump right in, and I hope this helps you out a ton. For those of you that are convinced that people are using monitor crosshairs, you are just blatantly wrong. There is no way that a monitor crosshair can help you escape from Tarkov if you understand how hipfire works. To break it down, the bullets all come out of the tips of the barrels of every single gun in the game, and the length of the gun will actually determine where on your screen the hipfire actually occurs. So shorter guns are different than longer guns. It literally misplaces where you have to hip fire on your screen depending on how long your gun is. Not only that, but your guns sway left and right when you move left and right. So the crosshair would have to move with your gun or else it's not going to be accurate at all. Let me show you. So in the hideout, I have max perception. This elite perk lets me have a little white kind of crosshair on my screen when I'm near loose loot or near stations of the hideout or a body. This is not a secret. This is just something that happens at max perception. It's pretty useless because, again, crosshairs like this don't help me. You gotta use a different crosshair like I'll talk about in a minute. But with the M1A, if I go into the hideout and I use this white dot that I have from being near this station, I can walk up to this dummy's head like this, and I should be on his head, but when I aim in with my voodoo on the M1A, I'm actually pretty much right here. I'm on the corner of his shoulder like this, right? Pretty close. The crosshair would almost work, but it's not necessarily there. I'd kind of miss his head. I'd be arming him. It's whatever, but not the best. When I was moving left and right, I'd have to have my crosshair sway as well, but wouldn't do that. Now, with an MDR, which is 2 slots shorter when it's loud than the M1A, look at this. I'm again walking up with this white dot, and when I aim in, look at where I am. I'm no longer here. I'm here. I'm now here instead of being up here. The spot is literally different on my screen. So I need to be adjusting for that with my guns, and that's what our secret is going to be talking about. But I wanted to quash the whole monitor crosshair thing. Don't use it. It's not going to help you. It is not the secret that you need to get better at point fire. Alright, so I didn't clickbait you. I didn't make you watch this whole video to say, yo, use a laser and that'll be your crosshair. Like, yeah, you could do that, but it's pretty obvious where you are, and it gives a signal of I'm coming around this corner when they see a laser popping up in and out of existence. It says, I'm aiming here, or I'm here, or, like, heads up. I don't like using it. I use an IR flashlight, which is the red flashlight. If you don't know why, watch the next section. It is really important if you don't know what this means. The B25 grip is one of the more subpar grips in the game, but one of the more popular among streamers. Why is that? Why do people use this grip that has bad stats for no reason? It actually is the crosshair I was talking about. Now, hear me out. This has an indicator of where you should actually be hip firing with every gun, no matter what the length of the gun is. And this, even though it's worse than the RK2 or the SC5, I use it more because of this indicator. Now, it will sway with your gun. It'll recoil with your gun. It is a crosshair that literally reacts to your gun because it is part of your gun at your hand. Now, your left hand is in the middle of your screen. It's kind of just there, very prominent. Now, the middle finger knuckle of your left hand is the actual crosshair itself. If you draw a line from that to about the horizontal middle of your screen, that is going to be where you're aiming in, and that's where you're hip firing. So if you see I'm aiming in here, directly on my jacket, look at where my knuckle is with the hip fire. If I draw a line from the knuckle forward, look at where it is again. I'm in the middle of this blue jacket, and you can see the knuckle line. Same thing with this light over here. If I aim in with the knuckle drawing upward to about there, that should be on the light, and it is. If I could do the same thing to this light up here, if I aim in, that's directly on the light pretty much. And again, from the middle knuckle up to the middle of my screen. Horizontally, it's in the middle, but vertically, it's not, just so to be clear. Talked about earlier. Now, with the MDR, this is much, much, much shorter gun than the HK. Same thing, same grip. But when I aim in, look at it. Middle of my screen with the middle of the knuckle to the middle of my screen, and I aim in. You see where it is? Same thing at this light. Middle knuckle, aim in, right there. Same thing, blue crate right there. Middle knuckle, aim in. The B25 grip literally shows you where to hip fire because you use that middle knuckle and you draw a line to about the center of your screen, which is kind of like this line horizontally. It's not vertical, like I said. Vertical does not work because of the placement of the guns and whatever. But horizontally, that's head height, right? So head height's always about here. And as I'm walking, I'm keeping my crosshair at head height, and I'm using this knuckle as my guide. So if a guy jumps up behind this box, I would snap and use the knuckle as my peripheral. I'm using the middle of this hand as this is where I need to be aiming to hip fire. So if I got to hip fire at the like top right of his tarp, it'd be like up there, give or take, right? And I'm pretty much right there, which very little effort, very easy to adjust. Recoils with the gun. If I move right, it moves right. Move left, it moves left. One of the best kept secrets, and this should exceptionally shoot you forward when it comes to point firing and making it so easy to hit these shots. Now, if you are newer to Tarkov or haven't heard of this before, you actually need a tactical device on your weapons to increase your hip fire accuracy. The grouping of bullets is actually tighter when you hip fire if you have a tactical device turned on your weapon. So this could be a green laser, red laser, an IR light or the red flashlight, as well as a regular flashlight, or just, yeah, a laser and a flashlight at the same time. That also works. But this is really important for increasing that accuracy. If I switch to this MP7 right now, which has no device on it at all, and I stand on this line and I hip fire on the left side of my screen over here, look what happens to my bullets. They kind of go very all over. Do you see how they just very much went left and right and up and down? There was no real pattern to the grouping. It felt very random because it pretty much is. But when I use the second MP7 now, which has my red flashlight turned on, which you can see right there, when I hip fire on the right side of this wall, look what happens. Look at how much tighter this grouping is. Do you see this versus that? Having this tactical device turned on means you actually get the chance to be able to beam people when they are kind of far away, or just having a more controlled and accurate hip fire. Now, again, I'm using an LS321 on my gun currently. There are tons of options. You can use the tactical laser from level 1 skier. You use the D-bow, which is the most popular one. It has flashlight, green laser, red laser, anything you want to use. And you can use laser solid color if you want to. I choose not to, so that my position is hidden and I can use the IR light. Now, the IR light was actually bugged for a couple months now, where it wasn't actually applying this hip fire bonus that you see right here. That has since been fixed. That works again. We are chilling. That applies the bonus. You can use it again if you haven't been using it. So using green laser, red laser, IR light, all these things make the grouping look like this as opposed to that, and they have to be turned on. If they are turned off, the bonus will not apply. If it's turned on, you're chilling though. Flashlight works, laser works, all those things are good. You must be using that, and that is basic 101 hit point fire. When it comes to point fire in Tarkov, there is no one-stop solution of this is the perfect formula of always do this here, never do this there. There are quite a few situations where you want to be doing it versus not doing it, and only through playing and practicing point fire will you get better at actually making yourself hit these point fires. Like, I would point fire realistically from here to this box all the time, and one of the main reasons is when you actually aim in, your movement speed is reduced by half. Look in the bottom left of my movement speed bar. When I aim in, I'm half movement speed. So when I come off a wall aiming in like this, I am super slow. I'm a moving target across this whole doorway. I'm a free kill, and I could just do the same thing, but hip fire, and I'm twice as fast going across the doorway, and I could put shots down range in the same amount of accuracy because I'm hip firing at a good height. Now, a lot of people fail before they even start with hip firing because they don't trust themselves when you should. It's actually just as accurate as aiming, and this hip fire is so good in this game, it's crazy. It's one of the best games for hip fire, like, ever. Or point fire, I'm sorry, whatever you want to call it. But on top of that, you want to make sure that your crosshair placement is good at all times. You need to be thinking about where someone could be and moving your crosshair accordingly. That's why we use this hand to help guide us, like we talked about in the previous section. You don't want to be walking around like this. Please don't do this. I see so many new players do this. You have to break this habit. If you could fix anything in Tarkov, it's got to be your crosshair placement. Because good crosshair placement nets me probably like 50% of my kills, because people just jump at me with no audio, or some guy's like, oh my god, and I just shoot, and he's right there. And I shoot him in the head, and he dies because I didn't expect him, but my crosshair was already here, and I just move it to the left about 2 inches, and now I'm ready to kill that guy. I'm already pre-aimed there. I don't have to go, oh shit, I didn't see him, and I gotta like try and figure out how to get there. I'm already there, pretty much. You know, it saves my life. Now, on top of that, being able to hip fire means when you move up to an angle like this, if you're not sure if a guy's behind this box or he's behind this way, you actually can do the same thing like I just talked about, where you're pre-aiming the angle here. And if he jumps out here, you can shoot him behind this box with hip fire, or if he jumps out here, same thing, you hip fire here. Now, the reason I like aiming in when I close this is the same reason. You're slower when you aim in. And number 2 is the housing of your sight can actually block out what you are seeing on your screen. So if there's a guy to my left and I'm aiming here, he could actually peek right now and kill me, and I wouldn't even see him because the housing of my sight would block that. But when I'm walking around with hip fire or point fire, I am in a position where the field of view is very clean. I have access to seeing my entire screen, even though a little bit of it's taken up by the gun. I can still see everything, and I can decide, like, oh, there's a guy here. Hip fire him. And then, oh my god, his friend crouched up from behind the box. Now I can kill this one, right? So being able to see your whole screen is very helpful and helps you track too, because sometimes people will have really crazy fast movement, and I don't know if they're going to swing off the angle or they're going to keep head glitching me. Like, is he going to keep peeking up and head glitching? I can just keep tapping and head glitch, and then randomly he might swing off the angle, and I got to be ready to go from here to there when he goes super fast off my screen. Sometimes people will slide across your screen, a little desyncy. You got to be ready to handle things like that. So being able to flick from having a high FOV as well, or not a high FOV, but higher FOV, right? Because when you're aiming in, it kind of squashes your FOV down a little bit. You're very focused in the middle of your screen, so much is taken up by the sight. But when you're hip firing, look at how free my screen is to make these shots. It's very important to keep track of it. So don't swing off angles when you're aiming in. Aiming in can actually make you super slow. I reserve aiming in for things like leaning off a wall, and I'm going to try and peek like this to aim off the wall like that. But when I want to clear an angle, I'm looking to hip fire a guy behind this box or over there. Or like even if I come out this way, like I'm not sure if a guy might be like in this corner to my left. I'm not going to aim this like, yo, is he there? I'm going to swing it like this. I'm faster. I'm going to swing it like this and pre-fire that. It's literally just faster. It's better. It's very accurate. Keeps you moving. Lets you track better. Very, very important. You have to practice this. And the way that I practice it as well is during dead time when I'm playing. I'll walk around like, I want to hip fire this red handle. Okay, move my thing there. Aim in. Am I there? Oh, I'm a little bit off. Okay, that's fine. I want to hip fire this ceiling. And let's say I'm just aiming over here. Like, obviously, that's off. I got to be looking at where I want to aim. It's yellow barrel on the ground. Go over here. Aim in. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. The top right of his box over here. I want to aim in. Okay, we're a little bit far off. And then you get better at it as more you do it. Like, this blue barrel on the ground. Aim in. And, oh, we got it. We're getting better. And you just do that during your free time when you're building up stamina and stuff. It helps you really get a hang for it. This men's bathroom sign right here. I want to hip fire this thing. What is this? Okay, we're on there. We're doing better, right? So as you're going through, when you have anything else going on, it's a really good way to keep your brain, like, kind of moving as well as keeping track of the crosshair placement. Very, very, very important. Boys, that was the guide. I hope you enjoyed. That B25 trick is one of my absolute favorites in the whole game. Been using it for about 2 years now. Hopefully you can get some good use out of that. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subbing. We got close to about 20K on YouTube. Hit that like button, comment down below for the algorithm, and pop by the stream. We're live every day answering your questions. Link in description. You know where to find me. Until next time, peace out.